Hey Dad, guess what?
Well, what?
So Bree officially has time off work in June, so we're coming to visit officially.
Awesome.
Woohoo! Yeah,
great.
it's been so long. Can't wait.
So in June, huh?
Yep. So is that okay? Are you guys all ready for it?
Yeah. Just got a lot of work to do. We haven't finished the basement yet.
Sorry. Well, good luck. Hope you get it all sorted.
I better go downstairs now.
All right, cool. I'll chat to you soon.
Talk soon.
I'm the villain.
So we've got 71 days before they arrive, but it's taken us over a year to get the basement halfway done so far. We've got the sanding to do, then the painting to do on all the drywall, which we call gyprock in Australia. This is the TV cabinet and fireplace. It's made out of metal framing because the wood got really expensive through the pandemic. And in front of me there you can see all these wooden boards there that I put up as nailers. And nailers are so you can screw something into the wall and not have to worry about hitting a stud. At the same time as doing that, we were building a cottage. And so here we are putting the metal roof on it when we got to break through the winter snow and putting up the side panels for it. But I'm gluing these two pieces of slabs together. You can see all the clamps to hold them down so they don't warp and keep them together. I'm gonna leave it on for a good 24 hours to make sure it all cures. Take it off, then it's time to sand. But I've got other stuff to do as well. The cottage to finish the roof on. I've got that to do. I've got a door to build. I've got to build another one of these doors. I've got other stuff I have to do, which isn't related to building. So I get complimented by people when they see stuff on Facebook that I'm talented and stuff. I've undertaken a lot of different tasks, doing the roof today and do cabinetry and cement work, tiling, but I'm not talented. I don't think I am. I spend hours and hours and hours on YouTube. YouTube is my coach. And sometimes I'm trying to do something that I can't find on YouTube and I have to do a mix of different methods to find how to do something. And then I have to also YouTube how to use some of the tools, tool reviews and things like that, some hints and tips. And sometimes I can't work something or something jammed. I have to try and YouTube how to fix it. So basically this house is the house that YouTube built. To be quite honest, I wouldn't do it myself. I'm only doing it because I don't have money and to hire someone else to do it. So I'm learning a lot of stuff along the way. It's not my goal. It's not my goal to learn stuff. That's handy, right? You save a lot of money. For example, this deck over here, when I was YouTubing that, how to do that about 6 years ago, there's no way I was going to do it. There's no way. This is out of my league. I can't do that. Finances are, if you want something, you can't afford it, you got to learn how to do it yourself. First I built it 3D. I had to teach myself SketchUp, how to see it on 3D. I use, and sometimes I can find out the issues. It says, that's going to create an issue when I put the drywall on here later. And so I have to redesign things. Sometimes it's designed about 5 times, maybe even more, before I've come up with a final design. And then I go over it and over it and over it. And basically it's built about 5 to 8 times before I even purchase the materials. And then, even then, I'm always anxious when I do something for the first time or I haven't, reviewed it for a while. I have to, in the middle of a job, I'll stop and go and watch a tutorial to figure out how to do it right. And sometimes I do it wrong and have to rip something apart and start again. Like this roof, actually. We got the first panels down. One screw each, and then we discovered, we need to move it over about 1/2 inch. Every place has their own codes too. So just because it's done one way in another state, their climate conditions are different to here. So you need to try and find the right code to do it in this area. Otherwise, you do risk of it being pulled down. The inspector will say, nah, pull it apart. And so everything is to code, and this is why we're into our 6th year renovating this place. See that part of the house there, that was the original house that Aaron was born in. Then later, Aaron's dad built this. That whole roof line up there, we've over doubled the size of the house, and so that's the addition that's taken us nearly 6 years now, and we're nearly finished the basement. And just when we thought we were at the end, we're building this. Anyway, stop talking to you. I've got things to do. Once I put the cement board on, I put a compound and tape on it, and that took a couple of days to make it pretty smooth. Then we rendered it with a cement render called Plenty Patch, and I'm mixing it all together here. It's not really for that purpose, but it looks good. I found that snow can be a pain in building, but it really helps with cleaning out cement products. Here's the Plenty Patch going on at the same time as the electrical work being done. I didn't film it here, but in the holes and the cracks, I poured resin in it and I had to sand it back for hours and hours and hours. Then we got some cabinetry from Lowe's for the kitchen and started to install the kitchen. On top of the cabinets is for the kitchen bench. Now, the kitchen bench can cost thousands of dollars. So we've saved thousands of dollars just by putting cement ones on. This method was a little bit different to what we did with the other ones. First I had to cut cement board for it.
I'm gonna have a complaint. I'm gonna make a rant. See these stupid things. You wear a mask, right, so you don't get this carcinogenic materials up your breathing nostril. But do they make them for men? No, they don't. They make them for stupid pinheads. Look at this! Make the bloody elastics big enough, you stupid wankers. If this ever gets the attention of the manufacturer of these things, make them for freaking adults with a head. And so your ears don't have to come out looking like stupid, and it flicks off all the time. It's so stupid. I had to put a beanie on just to keep my mask on. At least make them big enough for a Boofhead can wear them. Have some sizes. Ooh.
The Fireplace TV cabinet looked finished, but we put an optional extra on it, which was sealer. Now the sealer is actually a food grade sealer and you don't need it, but we found that the sealer made a nice hard surface. So we didn't want to risk getting it chipped or powdering away or anything like that, so we sealed it. While that was drying, I put the molds in place ready for the cement pour, which I didn't film because sometimes I just get too busy to film it, but here I am mixing the cement for it. And then we poured the cement, and while that was drying, I put the crown molding up, which in Australia we call cornices. About a day later, I took the molding off, and it was such a smooth surface, it was like glass. I had an allergic reaction to something. I got this rash going all over my face, and yesterday my eye was sort of puffed up and closed up. I got it down my arms. I'm not sure if it was a chemical that I touched or something. Anyway, so I'm on my 4th day of this. It feels like sandpaper up here, and it stings in the shower. Anyway, so what we're doing today is pretty fun. We're going to install the fireplace. We've had the fireplace for nearly a year now. A year in April. And now we get to install it. And so don't exactly know what we're doing, but I'll probably time lapse it because it's going to take a while since we don't really know what we're doing. Initial test activated. Yeah. A few days ago I got hit by the ugly stick. It's really welty, and each morning my eye closes up. Took a bit of antihistamine to see if that helped. Just got this rashy all up my arms. It flared up this morning. I thought it was getting better yesterday. Yesterday when I was working downstairs and I was sweating, the sweat would sting. And then the next day it came this side. It's like toad skin. It's lumpy like a toad.
Hit me with your ugly stick. Hit me, hit me, hit me slowly, hit me quick.
By now it's coming close to the point where I could put a floor down, but before I put the floor down, there's some things I had to make. One was a bed for Dakota, and the other one was another barn door, so I glued the barn door panels together just using shiplap and pine for the frame, then screwed the pine down after it dried the next day. We're about to seal the concrete, and when we sealed the fireplace, 2 days later, I broke out in that rash on my arm, then it came on this arm, then it went on my head, on my forehead, and it traveled down, and now my skin's extremely dry and cracking. And we sealed it once before, and all this white, there's a name for it. It's the salts and stuff in the water came to the surface. We haven't experienced that with the other ones anyway, so we took about 3 days sanding the seal off and trying to get this white down, and now we're sealing again, and I'm covering myself up. I need a hazmat suit, and hopefully I don't break out in a rash again. This sealer is extremely difficult, and the company that makes this stuff hide the instructions. You have to make a freaking account, and it's behind a password just with the instructions. Why can't they put the instructions just on YouTube so you can follow the thing? It's easier to qualify for your timeshare than it is to try and do this thing. It's like they try to set you up to fail. If it didn't work, they'll say, but did you do it exactly to the instructions? They sell it to the public, but the instructions on how to do it is so hard to get to. They don't put the instructions. You pay $200 for the sealer. They don't put the instructions in the thing. They can't be bothered printing it out, put it there. The sealer's actually pretty good. It's food grade sealer. But why this company has to make it so hard? It's frustrating.
I've been planning for it. I'm the villain. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I've been hunting for it. I've been planning
With the
for
sealer,
it.
we had to put it on and roll it off, put it on and roll it off, put it on and roll it off about 7 times. And then while that was drying, we then stripped the color out of the tabletop so we could stain it the color that we wanted to. While that was drying, I was then doing the hardware for the barn door.
Never will you be free from me. I'm everywhere you look, you never will escape me. So come at me, cause I'm the villain. I've been hunting for it. I've been planning for it. I'm the villain. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I've been hunting for it.
Then it was back into the cottage to rip off the panels so we can get that ready for electricity. And then back in the house to do the tiling. We spent a while looking for the right tiles that we'd like to go with our color scheme. A couple of days after that, we grouted the tile. I think it turned out pretty nice.
Take will come when they least expect.
Then after that, it was finally time to put the floor down, which is the same floor as I've got upstairs, so it all matched. It took about 5 days to put this floor down, then put in the baseboards. And I really love tools that make the job easier, like this finishing gun. So much easier than using a hammer and nail. We're going to have what do you call it? A footrest thingy, you know, at a bar when you put your feet on a bar. The length of this is exactly 131.5 inches. So I could devise a bar that goes across there as well as supports. I don't want to screw it into the ground, right? So it's not going to go into the ground. So I've put nailers in here, stuff that I can screw to already. Pre-planned this a year ago. We're going to do the same way as we made the handrail. Going to get a flange, not an angle, not in this case, an extended bit. But we've got to make up 131.5 inches. And I'm going to have it supported in the middle just like this. The flange, an extender, and a T, right? And with this one, we painted it this bronze color, right? But the trouble is, with your rings and stuff, it scratches. And you see here, See, it scratches the paint off, and then they've got to somehow touch it up again. So the solution that Erin's dad thought of was truck bed liner spray paint. Apparently it's tough enough, has a texture to it. Now what we have to do is just go shopping to find a configuration to reach 131.5 inches. So you've got to figure out the thread comes on, so it loses half an inch as you turn it on, but you also gain. So you got to minus what you lose and add what you gain to get it. So it's a lot of calculations involved. Went to Home Depot, found some hardware, the gas piping, and you have to clean the pipes to get all the grease off, because I put grease on it to stop it from rusting. Then there's a lot of spraying, spray paint, and while that's drying, then it was time to put the tiles down. The reason why we're doing tiles here instead of wood all the way to the door is because last winter we had a flood and it came over the door. I think we've mitigated the problem now, but just in case, we put tile here just to stop any water damage coming onto the wooden floorboards. Bought this coffee table yesterday for 20 bucks, and we actually bought this buffet side stand. So here's the drawers. There's the drawers I've taken out. Paint them black. And this tabletop I'm actually taking off and going to replace it with a reclaimed wood top, which I haven't purchased yet. I still got to buy that. Then we sanded back the existing varnish and made all the surfaces nice, ready for staining. Then we found some barn wood over 100 years old and prepped that, sanded it, then filled it in with resin, and then sanded that back again. That's about a week's worth of work right there. Then it was time to grout. At the same time as that, Granddad was putting in the under cabinet lighting. I didn't film it, but we stained it and painted the rest of the side table and the coffee table. Then it was time for Erin to decorate with new bowls and new cutlery. Everything was new that went into the cupboards, and Dakota helped out cleaning the house ready for royalty to arrive. And we finished everything with about 2 days to spare.